Hi there guys, Sheldon from Vane Archery Supplies, here to talk to you today a little bit about arrows. Look, I've had a few questions come through to me from other parts of the other reviews that we've done on arrows and so on and so forth, and people are a bit curious about it. Look, there's pretty much, let's be realistic, there's three main arrow brands available in the market, the biggest being Easton, hands down the biggest player in the arrow world, followed very closely by Carbon Express. Then we'd have a couple of other players sort of hovering around that, sort of whether or not it's Beeman or Gold Tip. You know, Vertigo's coming through, and there's a couple of other companies in Europe now that are starting to get on the arrow game. But at the moment, look, pretty much Easton and Carbon Express are going to be your two main choice of arrows. Hunters tend to favour Gold Tip arrows, very much because of the spinage of the arrows. They're very thick, very solid, very punchy arrows, so great for kinetic energy. But look, we're going to predominantly talk about target arrows more than hunting arrows. Look, I'm not going to sit here and put up an arrow and hold it in front of the camera because it's going to be absolutely pointless. It's going to look like a stick. So I'm just going to talk to you a bit freely about it and how you should think about an arrow. Look, when you buy a car, when you go out and you buy a car and you drive that car, the main wear and tear on that car is pretty much the wheels of your car. An arrow is the same for an archer. It's your wear and tear item. It's an item, pretty much, well, apart from your string, it is the other item of your bow that you do actually chew through. Now, when you're going out and buying a car, and you're buying, you know, you've bought your car, you've been driving it for a while, and you need to replace those tires. You have a couple of options when it comes to tires. You can buy cheap, or you can buy good quality. Arrows are exactly the same. You can buy a cheap arrow or you can buy a high quality arrow. Guys, you need to get it in your head that the better the arrow, the better the shot. And it really is that way. It's not as simple as saying, well, look, I've been shooting carbon ones for 10 years and they're still the best arrow. I guarantee you, I give you an X10, you'll shoot even better. Arrows really do make the difference when it comes to this sport. The better the arrow, the better the shot. It's not going to make you brilliant, but it will improve. So I know, for example, when I first started out, started out in Beeman flash arrows. Great little shaft, fantastic all-round beginner shaft, but it's not a long-term shaft. It will get you going, it will perform very well, and its own success was a gold medal winning arrow many years ago in the Olympics. However, since then technology's come a long way, and Easton have come a long way with their arrow shafts, and same with Carbon Express. So we're going to sort of work our way from the bottom up a little bit here. Now, when we're talking about hunting arrows and target arrows and all that kind of stuff, look, within the carbon world of arrows, whether or not it's Carbon Express or Easton, most of the arrows are the same. Give or take 0.1 of a grain or 0.2 of a grain. Most of them are pretty much the same arrow. When you look at some of Easton's arrows, you sort of look at these arrows and you think, what's the difference between this arrow, this arrow, this arrow, this arrow? Look, it is such a small thing that, you know, it's just pedanticness that gets you that different arrow shaft. And we're really just talking small weight adjustments in the arrow or small grain adjustments in the carbon. There's really not this massive difference between these arrows. They're all very closely matched. And Carbon Express and Easton in their carbon-based designs are very closely matched. Now, probably, you know, when you're starting to start out in this sport, you're going to think to yourself, how much am I going to spend on arrows? Well, look, guys, realistically, it's going to cost you about $100 to $120 to get yourself a good dozen arrows to start out with. Please do not make the mistake of when you buy a bow, when you go to some of these shops, these guys selling you red zone arrows that have like a 50-70 written on it, or they've got fiberglass arrows. Guys, they're crap. Throw them away. They're not right for the bow that you have. And you know how you know that? Because old mate behind the counters reached down, picked up the arrows and gone, there you go, there's 6 arrows. That's not how it works, guys. When you buy your bow, your arrows must be matched to your bow. It is very, very important that they are cut to the right length and they are balanced in the right spine to the poundage of your bow. It is like putting the wrong tires on your car. You get them wrong, your car behaves like a pig, your speedometer's out, your car doesn't perform as well. It is exactly the same with the arrow. Do not fall into this tip of, I've got $20 in my pocket, I need 2 arrows. Don't think like that. You think like that, wrong sport for you. And I hate to be so blunt and so rude about it, but that's the truth. Arrows are the driving force of your sport. They are the thing that will get you onto the X or into the middle of that target or onto that prey. Getting the right arrows for the right job will make all the difference when it comes to this sport. So when you start out, there's probably 2 favorite arrows of choice for target shooters, and that would be either the Jazz or the Beam and Flash. Then there's sort of generic arrows that both 2 manufacturers make. There's the Predator 2s by Carbon Express and Power Flights or Beam and Bow Hunters, which are pretty much the same shaft, by Easton and Beeman. They are all pretty much exactly the same sort of shafts. They're going to do roughly the same jobs. Carbon Express will be a little bit lighter than those Power Flights, but they're pretty much the same arrows. But we're going to move forward a little bit more than that. If you're serious about getting into your sport, whether or not it's the hunting disciplines like field archery or target archery, again, money will buy you better results. And it really is that simple. I get a lot of hunters in here, they just want $100 dozen arrows, you know, unfletched, you know, Eastern Accesses, gold tip kinetics, that kind of stuff. They don't want to spend a lot of money on their arrow. But if you're an actual class shooter, so you're doing like IFA or ABA, 3D AAA, or other field disciplines around the world, spend the money, buy better arrows. It will make a huge difference. I guarantee you, spending $300 on arrows, it's not uncommon, but it will make you shoot a lot, well, it won't make you shoot a lot better, but it will help you to shoot a lot better. Also, when you're looking at those sorts of arrows, look at the vanes you choose. So, you know, the problem that we have at the moment, one of the most common vanes you see on an arrow are these new blaze type designs where you see this sort of very sharp shape. Problem. On a lot of the new bows coming through the markets, like the Hoyt Charger, Spider, G5 range of bows, Bowtex, they're all having the same issue. They don't fit, so don't use them. If you buy a Whisker Biscuit, don't use them. They don't work. They will not go through a Whisker Biscuit. Guys, I see it so many times. People walk into my shop, they've got a bow with a Whisker Biscuit on it on a compound, and they've got arrows like that. They don't work. So, really think about your vane choice when you're buying your bow. If you're going to go Whisker Biscuit, guys, shields. That will get through that Whisker Biscuit quicker than you can blink. No friction, no fuss, and you'll get a clean shot. That won't. And I've proved it every time. So, vanes make a big difference when it comes to your arrows. Now, a question I got asked was about ACE versus X10. Now, in all honesty, it's a no-brainer, okay? X10, Carbon Nano XR, probably 2 of the best target arrows that you can buy to date in the target world. You will not find a finer 2 arrows for target shooting. They are simply the best. And I guarantee you, the minute somebody else will come out with a new high-end target arrow, Easton will just pop another one out. And that's pretty much going to happen. But it really is this simple. If you don't have the money to buy X10s, and I say this very politely, there's nothing wrong with it. X10s will set you back pretty much by the time you set them all up, somewhere up around the $500 mark, especially if you go wraps and vanes and all that kind of stuff. You will be parting with near $500 for a set of X10s. So, you know, the step down from that is to look at a few other shafts that are around that kind of range. Now, the Nano XRs are around the same kind of money as a X10, Eastern X10. So the next one down for Carbon Express is just the Nano, which is sort of the ACE rival in the Eastern range. Now, when it comes to target shafts for Eastern, the carbon aluminium based design shafts are pretty much the best in their range, whether or not it's ACG, ACE or X10. If you're going to do serious target shooting, they're 3 of the main shafts that you're going to consider. The other one, maybe for lighter poundages, would be the ACCs because they're a little bit lighter than the ACEs, ACGs and X10s. But I'm not going to jump into them too much about this arrow is going to do this, and this arrow is going to do this, and this arrow is going to do this. The truth is, you're the operator of the bow, and pretty much how you shoot will affect how that arrow will fly. What I will talk to you more about is choosing the right vane for the job. Now, for recurve shooters in the target world, there are so many options when it comes to performance vanes. We started out originally with curly vanes, then we got spin wings, then we got LE vanes, and then we have XS wings. I can honestly tell you, out of that range of vane, XS wings seem to be really making the mark there. They are a slightly different design to the original spin wings and curly vane profiles, and they're a very different design to LE vanes. LE vanes are a very low profile, scallop shaped type vane. Curlies and spin wings have got a very long curve, whereas XS wings have got a very acute curve to them, and they're a different material, much more solid. Shoot them through a clicker, they will survive. But what we have noticed in our trials between all those vanes is recovery times. And one of the only vane that recovers the quickest out of those vanes is XS wings. Now, I don't say it because I sell them. I do sell those vanes. I do sell LE vane, spin wings, and curly vanes. But we have proven time after time after time, XS wings will outshoot a spin wing vane in most cases, given the right archer and the right conditions. And when we say the right conditions, where the XS wing really steps up over those other vanes is in windy conditions. It performs so much better. Now, compounders, there is a vane for you in this range as well. Up until now, there has never been a high performance vane. There's basically been the AAE Maxes or the small little shield type vanes. X-Wings make a performance vane for you as well. It is a hard profile 50mm and 70mm version. 70mm being for hunting and for indoor shooting, and 50mm being for standard shooting. XS wings are made in Slovenia, and they're made by a company called XS Wings. They were designed by a gentleman by the name of Dijon Sitar, who was in his own right and is in his own right a fantastic world-class shooter. So look, it's taken a long time for us to get these into the marketplace here in Australia, and they are really showing their worth. I get a lot of compounders in here, I show them to them, they and ah about it, oh, they're for recurvers. I give them to them, they go away, they come back and they walk in my shop and they go, you know what, I thought you were full of shit, but they really are a better vane. And that's the truth, they are better vanes, and they will give you unrivaled shot performance in your shooting. So next time you're looking at vanes for performance shooting, really do put those into the same category as a spin wing for recurves. But these are specifically designed for compound. They are a much harder vane, their recovery time is instantaneous. As soon as that arrow comes out of that bow, it is spinning like a top. They spin absolutely fast as. They are so fast in the air. But they will give you a much more leveled shot, and your feet per second drop is very minimal. But look, we're going to get back to the sort of the blaze type vanes, and I was very forceful before when I was talking about blazes and that kind of stuff. Guys, when you shoot recurve or compound, especially compound, there's probably a few more choices with vanes as far as blaze vanes go. Shields, 235s, 3-inch vanes, all that kind of stuff. Blazes are very popular in the hunting market, and the reason is they are specifically designed for that market. They are designed for a broadhead. They're not designed for a straight target shaft. So don't use them for target shooting, guys. You're just going to end up with a very skewy shot. Smaller, low profile vanes all the way for target shooting. Hunting, nothing wrong with blazes, very quiet. But you do need to be very mindful of the clearance on those control cables in your bow. They do have an issue with that, and it's so close. And you can see them when people come into the shop, when they are using drop away rest or blade rest, and you can see the marks on the vanes where they're clipping the string. So that's why I'm not a big fan of blaze vanes. I think they need to be slightly smaller in their profile, but I understand the theory behind them very well, and they are very good at what they do. But look, realistically, when it comes down to arrows, talk to your shops, talk to the people in the shops, talk to people in your clubs, guys, because arrow selection, it's not as simple as me getting in front of this camera saying you must use this arrow for this job, this arrow for this job, this arrow for this job. There are so many different arrows out there and they all do slightly different things. But you really do need to talk to your shop. Be specific about what you're after. But guys, budget will make the difference. If you walk into a shop and you say, look, I got $100, you're going to get $100 worth of arrows. That's it. So you're getting basically budget tires for your bow. Okay? Raise your budget. Get your budget up somewhere around $200. You're going to open the field up as to what you can jump into. You're going to be able to jump into really nice Carbon Express arrows and really nice Eastern arrows. You're going to be able to shoot so much better. And I challenge anybody to tell me that I am wrong. That the better the arrow, the better the shot. You will find you will shoot so much better when you have the right spine, the right arrow, and the right vanes. Those three things point together, make up pretty much the best arrow combination. Point weight, that's a personal preference. Some people like lighter weight, some people like heavier weight, but heavier weight will make that arrow fly in a much straighter line because eventually the arrow will come in behind the point. But guys, I'm not going to waffle on any more about it. I've already gone on too long with the arrow side of this review. Look, feel free to send me questions on this one. It's a big issue with arrows. This isn't something I can nut out in under 20 minutes or under half an hour. It's a big thing. It's a massive question mark. So, guys, the best thing to do is talk to your shops. Make sure you give them your poundage and your draw. Those two make up what we can get out of choosing the right arrows for you. But for now, guys, any questions, please email me or respond to the YouTube video or email me at www.findarcherysupplies.com.au and go through the contact us section of that area. But for now, have a great day and happy shooting, guys.